Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm with my special guest host, Chevy Atkinson with Evergreen Realty, and I don't think we're bringing him back on because he's been everywhere throughout the show.
When you have a good horse, you got to ride it, like I said in the break, Nelson.
The segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limo transportation services. If you need a limo, Drew, all you need to do is text the word limo to 313131. They're going to show up at your front door. They're going to deliver you on time. It's a wonderful experience. 888-888-2136 is how you can reach us. That's 888-888-2136 or on nelsonradio.com. So Drew Gitlin, I wanted to reintroduce, as I've done practically every segment now.
Sorry about that.
Reintroduce you to Nelson Radio, former professional tennis player in the top 50 in the world, right?
Yeah, it's 58, my highest in singles.
Yeah. And then when you looked over that edge and you looked way down to 541, you'd see me waving. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So I want you to share with our listeners the story of your purchase, because it tells the tale.
It does tell the tale. And when I bought my house, it was 1990, and I literally bought it on the last day of the upmarket. I mean, it was not now, buy now. And I closed the very last day. When I moved in after a few weeks of refurbishing, my house was worth $250,000 less. And so, as I was eating my first bowl of cereal, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And my friends like to call me the idiot who bought it on the last day of the market. And I would tell them, hey, guys, I love where I live. I'm making my memories with my family. And this is, I think, where a lot of the clients and a lot of people in real estate have lost it. I think that they think that every 2 years a house is going to double. I try to get my clients, when you're looking at that scrapbook, where do you want those photos to come from? So either way, bought my house in 1990. 10 years later, I got very impressive celebrities living up the street. I got Spider-Man. I got, Lindsey Buckingham. I've got, Marie
Nelson.
Sharp. I got Nelson. And so either way, and my friends would say, dude, how did you do it? How did you go, and I went, how did you get on the street? And I went from a schmuck to a genius in 10 years. And you know what? I really believe that in real estate. If you bought in 1980, in 1990, you've done great. You bought in 90, 2000, you're great. Think about it. In 2010, when the market, and Chevy knows this, when the market was terrible, if you bought in 2000, your house was still worth more in 2010 in a horrible market. And we miss that. America, if we go south and America goes under and we talk about all these problems and the mortgage and this and that, it doesn't make a difference how much money you have. The American dollars will be like Mexican pesos, and it won't be worth anything anyway. So I just don't believe that way. I think, America is the best country to live in, and every 10 years, you're golden in real estate. Find your place that you want to make your memories, and you're going to do terrific.
And I think, Chevy, that's so important, too, because we've talked about this previously, where people should look at real estate as their home and a memory maker, as opposed to just ROI.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Drew and I may have a little bit of difference in perspective. In 2006, for example, we would tell people that, it is your home and it is a memory maker, but I was renting in 2006. Mm-hmm. And I was making great memories with my family. I have 3 little girls. One of them's actually on the trip. And if I would have purchased a home in 2006, I would not be purchasing the home where I'm purchasing it now. And in fact, I'd be in a lot worse financial position. So there is something to be said about that. At the same time, you do have to look rationally at where the market is. I mean, it would cost me 3 times more to own the property that I was living in 2006 than to rent. So Brentwood is definitely a unique market. That market, I mean, for example, our newest report now is done because rental parity, right? The same to cost as to own as it does to rent. Brentwood, it probably never costs the same to own as it does to rent, right? So we had a lot of really wealthy clients that said, I bought my house in 94 in Newport Coast or Newport Beach, and that was a phenomenal time to buy, and it cost me 70% more to own than to rent. Where today, maybe it's only 33% more because of how low rates are. So if you really want to look at it, he's right. It's not only about the economics. It's not only about the dollars and cents. It's also about making memories with your family. But you do want to think about the overall financial health of your family as well, in my opinion. And you want to look at both sides.
I agree with that.
And that's one of the cornerstones, Drew, of your practice that we talked about in terms of you do look at all aspects. You're not getting swallowed up in the groundswell of exuberance and you've gotta. You're not, like we talked earlier, the consumer confidence numbers are up. You're not fanning the flames of that, just saying to get a sale. You're looking at all aspects.
I for my clients, I really do. And I try to help families, create their dream, create their future. I can't control the market up and down. And like anything in the stock market, and everyone has money managers. It happens there. You own Apple and here's Apple down at whatever it's down at. So you do the best you can. You help guide them. You help, lay out the structure of what it's going to look like, what the perils are. And at the end of the day, I think they're usually pretty happy with you with that guidance.
You're listening to Nelson Radio, brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free, and on-time limo services. You can text the word limo to 313131, and we'll get you teed up for a fabulous experience. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Before we go to our next segment, I wanted to ask you just about the negotiating skills that you have, and in specifically this market, presenting to the sellers, where there's a lot of cash, there's a lot of different influences, but that you have a unique approach to representing your buyers.
I do. It's a lot of multiple offers are going on out there right now, as Chevy was alluding to earlier. I mean, it's somewhat of a frenzy out there. And so to win one, when you have seven people also who want that property, there are certain tools. It's all about terms and all about price. And it's how to somewhat manipulate that so your client is viewed in the best possible way. So they throw 3 or 4 away, and you're one of the top 3. And so when the counter comes back, at least you can play at the table. And, there's certain tricks in the contract to do. And, one of the things I like to do is normally a contract says 3% down of the purchase price. I have my client put 10% down.
Or as a deposit, yeah.
As a deposit, because you're going to get it back anyways. You're only liable for the 3 anyways. So why not stick down 30 grand, 50 grand? It doesn't make a difference. If you can at least win, it's just going to sit in account a few weeks early anyways before it's used. So that's one little trick. There's other various things. Also, preparing the client up front, what's to come, is super important. And that I find will create the most amount of success, because they get very scared quickly if you don't do that.
Stay with us. You're listening to Nelson Radio, and I'm excited to be with our special guest host, Chevy Atkinson from Evergreen Realty, and the fount of West Los Angeles real estate knowledge, Drew Gitlin. This segment brought to you by The Fount, brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.